أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the fourth review session of the Al-Maghrib course Torchbearers. This course was taught by Sheikh Walid Basuni, and this review session is brought to you by Qabilat Bushra. We begin this review session with a discussion of Sulayman ibn Mahraan, also known as the Mus'haf. He was born in the south of Iraq, and something interesting about him was he's known as the Mus'haf because he was not only very interested in learning the Quran and the Hadith, but he also memorized the Quran and the Hadith so well that his accuracy, his memory was excellent, and so he never made a mistake when reciting the Quran or any part of the Hadith. And his teachers would often say that they had never seen anyone who memorized the Quran or the Hadith like Al-Amash. We don't know much about his early life except the fact that he was the son of a slave and his family was extremely poor. And another thing that we do know about his appearance was that he was very messy and very dirty, and the reason for that was because of his extreme poverty. He did not have enough money to take good care of his hygiene and use perfumes or soaps, and he would never accept any money for teaching. And so he was really poor, and that is one of the reasons why he was not very clean and usually very, very messy. He also once said that if I wasn't a scholar, no one would even dare come near me because of the state of his hygiene and his body. Okay, so some of the early factors that shaped his life was that he was raised in Kufa. This is the time when more than 200 companions had already moved to Kufa, including Abdullah ibn Masud. And he was not only raised in Kufa, but also he lived during a time when collection of hadith was a big deal. And so everyone was collecting hadith, and if you wanted to be remembered or if you wanted to be famous, all you had to do was recite a few hadith. And this made Al-Amash a little mad because he thought that hadith should be learned just for knowledge and not for money or fame or anything else. And he considered such people unworthy of narrating hadith. He was able to master fiqh of Ibn Masud by learning directly from his students, and he was also known as one of the greatest narrators of hadith and one of the greatest muhaddithun of his time because of his knowledge of hadith and the fiqh of Ibn Masud and Sunnah. Another interesting thing about Al-Amash is the fact that once there are several stories that are associated with him, and these stories are available in your notes, so be sure to look through them. But I'll go ahead and talk about one or two stories here. One of them was when Isa ibn Musa sent him 1,000 pieces of gold and asked him in a letter to narrate to him one of the best hadith. And Al-Amash basically tore up the letter and fed it to his goats, and he wrote back to Isa ibn Musa with on a piece of paper. He just wrote Surah Ikhlas and sent it back. This made Isa ibn Musa very, very upset, and Al-Amash basically told him that you think I'm going to go ahead and sell hadith for money. I'm not going to do that. Incidentally, he did not return the money, but he actually took the money and distributed it among the poor. Another interesting story is that he would station a huge dog outside his door who would chase his students away. And his rationale was that if they're not serious about knowledge, it's better to just chase them away from his door. Another interesting incident was when some students came to his house for food. They were hungry and they asked him for food, and he brought them his own food, and they ate that. That was very little, and they were still hungry. So then he brought them his wife's food, and they ate that as well, and they were still hungry. And finally he went and he brought some hay and put it in front of them, and he told them that you've eaten my food, my wife's food, now go ahead and eat my goat's food as well. So those are some interesting stories about him. There's a story about when a student kidnapped him as well. That's in your notes. Be sure to go ahead and read that. Some of the lessons that we can learn from the life of Al-Amash is, we shouldn't expect our scholars to be perfect. And and one of the things that I personally found very, very interesting about him was that when you have a belief in something and when you study the deen, you should just do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not for any other reason, not for money, not for fame, not for anything else. So those were some of the interesting stories of Al-Amash. Be sure to look through the notes, because there is much more in the notes, more details. The exam is once again on March 12th. It will be available at almaghrib.org between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. We will have a mock exam coming out. Be sure to take that and revise everything according to the mock exam. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.